part of, building the channel, building the presence on there is this, the Grim Gazette. So we're going to kick off with the first weird headline of the night. Colorado funeral home owners arrested following the discovery of 190 decaying bodies.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
The owners of a Colorado funeral home were arrested Wednesday after nearly 200 decaying corpses were found improperly stored at their facility. Bet that place was fragrant. John and Carrie Halford, the owners of the Return to Nature. Oh my God. They called their funeral home Return to Nature.
It's a trap.
Yeah, this was in December. This was in December, November, December of 2023. John and Carrie Halford, the owners of the Return to Nature funeral home, were arrested on 4 felony charges, including abuse of a corpse, theft, money laundering, and forgery. The pair were taken into custody without incident in Wagoner, Oklahoma. Both are being held on bond set at $2 million. $2 million. Tidy sum, Mr. Bigglesworth. The probable cause affidavit has been sealed, but District Attorney Michael Allen said he would not contest releasing it to the public at a later date. I want to warn you, the information contained in that affidavit is absolutely shocking, he told reporters at a press conference on Wednesday. Prosecutors may bring additional charges to the case as the investigation progresses. Police first searched the funeral home located roughly 30 miles south of Colorado Springs in the town of Penrose on October 3rd after receiving a report of an abhorrent smell coming from the building. What they found inside was horrific, according to Fremont County Sheriff Alan Cooper, who declined to go into further detail during an October 6th press conference on the investigation. According to its website, Return to Nature offers green and natural burial services. Which allow bodies to decompose underground without the use of metal caskets or chemicals. The practice is legal in the state of Colorado, but the law requires bodies that are not embalmed to be refrigerated within 24 hours of death. Fremont County Coroner Randy Keller declined last month to say whether the remains discovered at Return to Nature were intended for natural burial, but he did not say they were improperly stored. He did note that they were improperly stored. Some relatives of those whose remains were sent to the funeral home for cremation told the Associated Press they believe they were given fake ashes composed of dry concrete. Oh, no, this is appropriate music right here. There we go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. The AP also reported that the Hallifords were sued by a crematory that stopped doing business with them, but that issue did not appear to immediately attract inspectors in a state with notoriously lax funeral home regulations, even after the company's registration expired in November. Investigators originally estimated the 2,500 square foot building contained about 115 bodies. But after transporting all the remains to the El Paso County Coroner's Office, they raised that number first to 189, then 190 individuals. The process of identifying specific victims is ongoing, Keller said on Wednesday. In total, 110 individuals have been identified using fingerprints, dental records, or medical hardware. 25 bodies have been released back to their families. Probably in Stanley Cups at this rate. Colorado Governor Jared Polis issued a verbal disaster declaration in order to free up additional resources for the investigation, effort that has included both state and federal bureaus of investigation, 3 county coroners' offices, the State Emergency Management Agency, and state and local police agencies. Some of the investigators come from an FBI team that has been dispatched to mass casualty events like 9/11 and airline crashes. How's everybody doing tonight? And we're off! And we're off, everybody! Wow. That Stanley Cup's too hard to get. You're probably right there. You're probably right there, hon. Well done. Well done. If I recall at the time, it wasn't the only funeral home to get in trouble around the same time. Well, this was the only one that was in the headlines. So just so you all know, the reason I'm trying to find legit sources, NPR, AP, stuff like that. I want to make sure that this is legit, legit stories. For example, I went to this one website. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was something like, it was called Too Saucy, Too Juicy, something like that. I couldn't quite figure out. I can't remember what the name is, but I remember the story. And they had a story about some deep sea divers that went down into a boat wreck, or no, plane wreckage, and what they found in there were shocking. Now I thought, okay, so they're doing some clickbaity stuff here. That's fine. But I read the opening paragraph, and it was, the way I would describe the style of the article is that it was written by somebody who was trying to write Stephen King in high school and doing it badly. That was how it came across. So I'm like, okay, I'm not, if I don't know where the source of the story is or where it's coming from, I mean, I'm not going to go to Upworthy or any of that crap. I'm just gonna keep it to the main ones, Reuters. Now, granted, if I've got stories from overseas, that works fine. If you all have stories that you would like to share or you want to see on the Grim Gazette for next week, well, I got good news because I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to create a channel. I'm going to make a text. I'm going to call it Grim Gazette. It is not a private channel. I will create said channel and I will put it right underneath Paranormal. So if you go to Grim Gazette right now, that's what it is. And if Sam or any of my other mods from Discord is there, yeah, we can go on ahead and we can wait. Start the Grim Gazette private channel. See, this is where I get pissy. This is why I hate freaking. It's not supposed to be private. Oh no, wait. No, it's private for this one. It's not like a public channel, so anybody can pop in there. We should be good. Anyway, but yeah, I can do a quick description of what the Grim Gazette is and all that stuff. But if you have a news story that you want to drop in the Grim Gazette, that's where you're going to drop it. That's where you're going to drop it. Okay, stories like this. Kansas couple charged with collecting man's retirement while keeping his body in their home for 6 years. If you let me, I would recognize everything in the server. Okay. Yeah. If you want to, I haven't even started reading the story yet, Bear. Here we go. Overland Park, Kansas. From the AP Newswire. That's what's even better about this kind of story because it's from AP. Overland Park, Kansas. A Kansas couple has been charged with fraudulently collecting more than $215,000 in retirement benefits on behalf of a dead relative while they concealed his body inside their home for 6 years. Authorities say Mike Carroll's pacemaker showed that he died in 2016 at age 81. But Overland Park didn't discover his body until 2022 after his son-in-law, Kirk Ritter, called the police to report his death in the Kansas City suburb. Prosecutors say Lynn Ritter and Kirk Ritter, both 61, continued depositing and spending from Carroll's bank account even while his body had become mummified on a bed in the home he owned. Lynn Ritter is Carroll's daughter. Family members told the Kansas City Star that the Ritters would repeatedly give them excuses about why, so many excuses about why Carroll could never take a phone call or visit while leading them to believe that Carroll was still alive. The couple is due to appear in federal court to face several charges on February 2nd. They didn't respond to phone and email messages from the newspaper, and court documents do not list a defense attorney representing them. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. They're defending themselves. Well, they got plenty of money to do it with, so there's that. It's like, hey, how you doing? Prosecutors say the pension and Social Security payments Carroll received over the 6 years after his death totaled $216,000.67, but bank records from that time showed checks being written from his bank account and cashed by Lynn and Kirk Ritter. And that dropped in the news feed this week, 2024. Wow. Okay. Now, not to get too grim, everybody. Honestly, I am also looking for weird science stories like this one. Cause behind beer goggles debunked by scientists. There you go. Scientists have debunked a theory that beer goggle effect is due to drinkers finding someone more attractive because their faces appear more symmetrical under the influence. Researchers from the University of Portsmouth questioned 99 men and women aged between 18 and 62 in a pub to test how people rate looks after a few drinks. I love this story. But the study, published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, I'm just less juicy when drunk. But the study, published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, found that while alcohol did impair face symmetry detection, it did not influence judgments of attractiveness. A spokesman said, "The term beer goggles has been used for decades to describe when a person finds themselves sexually attracted to someone while intoxicated but not sober. One possible explanation for the effect is that the alcohol impairs the drinker's ability to detect facial asymmetry, thus making potential partners more visually pleasing. Existing research has shown that a part of what makes people attractive to others is how well both sides of their face match." Okay. The thinking goes, the more symmetry, the better the gene pool. But when alcohol is introduced, it is thought that a person is less likely to notice if the faces around them are non-symmetrical. I mean, yeah, secondhand, that's how this works, but no. However, a new experiment found that while alcohol did impair face symmetry detection, it had no influence on facial attractiveness judgments. Dr. Alastair Harvey from the university's Department of Psychology said, "Alcohol is a strong predator of sexual behavior, often consumed before or during dates. There are a range of possible reasons why alcohol drinkers are more inclined to engage in sex, including a lack of inhibition, heightened expectations, personality traits, and the beer goggles effect. Due to the limited research on this topic, we ran a field experiment." And I'm just gonna it's just yeah.
I suggest you let that one marinate.
I am. Okay, due to the limited research on this topic, we ran a field experiment to help determine why people often experience unexpected and regretted sexual escapades after having one too many. Dr. Harvey said that an explanation for the findings could be that attractiveness depended on many factors rather than just the small effects of facial symmetry. He said, "We don't deny the existence of a beer goggles effect, but we suspect it would be more easily detectable when using live models for an experiment instead of static photographs. Images conceal a range of important visual criteria for attractiveness, including build, body shape, height, expression, and clothing. Therefore, further research is needed to find the missing piece to the puzzle." All right, I'm just going to come out and say it. When I get into the paranormal and people go, you should really pay attention to science. This is science, everybody. This right here is science in action, okay? The University of Portsmouth, everybody. Yes, exactly. Okay. Sounds like a tax break for these guys, probably. Now, I'm glad Marv is here for the very first episode because I actually the last story, the last weird news story I have, I am dedicating to Marv. I'm This one's for you, babe. I love you, man. I do. I love you like a brother. Sunderland apologizes to its fans for rebranding Stadium Bar in Newcastle colours for FA Cup game. Sunderland, England, from the AP Newswire, everybody.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Right now, I can hear him going, "Oh my God." Sunderland scored a spectacular own goal off the field well before its FA Cup showdown with arch rivals Newcastle. The second-tier English soccer club, football, apologized to fans after a bar at its Stadium of Light was rebranded in Newcastle color and banners ahead of Saturday's derby. The Black Cats bar will serve as a corporate hospitality suite for visiting fans, but Sunderland pledged to return to the space to its original state after a fan backlash. Sunderland apologized for a serious error in judgment and said it had requested an immediate review is undertaken due to determine how this process unfolded. No, this happened. This was reported on January 5th. This was reported January 5th. So yeah. Effing hell. Club owner Carol Louis Dreyfus, who also apologized, said he was disgusted and hurt by the news. I take full responsibility for every decision that is taken by the employees of our club. And you have my word that I will personally make sure that we will make the necessary changes required to improve, because it's clear there are many areas where we need to do better. Yes, we'll have another sherry, please. No, that was just implied. Oh, it's sorry, that was the Frenchman. I take full responsibility for every action that is taken by the employees of our club, and you have my word that I will personally make sure we will make the necessary changes required to improve, because it is clear that there are many areas where we are needed to be better, the Frenchman said on his Instagram account. Home fans were already tense after some season ticket holders were moved from their usual seats to accommodate the 6,000 traveling Magpies supporters. The gaffe threatened to overshadow the eagerly anticipated third-round cup match between the Northeast neighbors. The teams haven't squared off since a 1-1 Premier League draw in March 2016 at St. James Park. And because I watch Welcome to Wrexham and Ted Lasso, I really understand this. This makes perfect sense to me, everybody. Sunderland was relegated to the top flight after the 2016-17 season. The club then slipped down to League One the next campaign, all chronicled in the popular Netflix series Sunderland Till I Die. Sunderland returned to the championship last season, was one game away from earning promotion to the Premier League. The club is currently 6th in standings. Newcastle has lost 4 straight games in all competitions and 11 points away from the top 4 in the Premier League. So that's for you, Marv. That one. That's all for you. There you go. All right. Whew. I honestly was just holding my breath that you would enjoy that. Yeah, there you go. There you go. What's the old saying, hun? Football is 90 minutes pretending that you're hurt. Rugby is 60 minutes pretending you're not. Who says I don't think about you, Marv? Who says I don't think about you? Come on, buddy. You got this. Okay. All right. So here we go. Here is we are now segueing from weird news to the ghost footage. Now, I want to make sure everybody can see this okay, and everybody can also hear this okay, just in case. I'm assuming that all of these have audio of some kind, which means I'm going to go on ahead and take care of the audio here. There you go. So this is actually from Fox 26 News at KMPH, which means they're out in California. And it's, which, there you go, there's California as well. Is that a ghost on a Central California road? Let me go on ahead and let me max this out to the screen. Let's see. Yes, I know. So let's see how this looks, everybody. Let's see how this looks. So we're looking in the circled area. Okay. The world is healing. Thank you, Sam. Hey, Sam, this one's for you. Okay. So here's something you need to know about these kind of cameras. Okay. This is obviously taken from a, this is something that's been taken from a dash cam, obviously. A dash cam of some description, right? And we're going to watch this again. And here's what you need to know about dash cams or any of the cameras. If it's not your phone, and if it's a camera that is, I'll go so far as to say $150 or lower. It's got terrible optics. Now there are two types of optics that you have in a camera. Okay, you've got digital optics, and the other one is called. I have this written down somewhere. I actually have this written down. I actually have this in a 5 Minute Paranormal, and I forgot what the other optics are called. But there are two, but the thing is that these dash cams, the ones that so many people buy, they rely on digital optics. Thank you. Okay. Is that the bonk that you think you think that bonk is better than this bonk? I disagree. I disagree, if you don't mind me saying. So you have these these digital optics, and what it is that they are computers, small computers that are taking digital information and filling in the blanks. Okay, it's filling in the blanks when it cannot process what the image is there. Now, these digital optics you'll find in really cheap cameras, and the bigger problem that you have is that they can actually create something called artifacting. Artifacting is when you get information that the digital onboard computers are either that they're creating. A good example of that is when you overcompress audio. When you overcompress audio, or when you try to remove sound too much digitally, you get weird beeps and whirs and just sounds that didn't exist. You actually create them. That's what's happening here. Because as it, and this dash cam is obviously not using infrared of any kind. So it's trying to render not only the stuff on this side of the road, but the stuff in front of it. And yeah, you're losing something here. And this is the computer. This is the onboard digital optics of the camera trying to render what's there. It would be lovely to think that, yes, that is a ghost crossing the road to get to the other side. So obviously it's the ghost of a chicken. But yeah, this is the optics of a cheap camera trying to process that. Now, the weird noise, that's just the sound of when the person created this video. They created this video by slowing down the sound as well. So you get that noise as well. So tempting to believe that is paranormal. It isn't. It is simply digital optics working really, really hard. So yeah. But thank you, KMPH Fox 26 News. Thank you for that. Very cool. Okay. This one actually has a story with it. This is from WBZ News. Did a Portsmouth, New Hampshire restaurant known for its ghosts catch a spooky sight on camera? The library restaurant in Portsmouth, again, Portsmouth, says in a Facebook post that motion detectors inside the building were triggered just before what appears to be a puff of smoke passes by outside. The restaurant says it couldn't have been wind because the trees in the video aren't moving, and also shut down suggestions. Look at this. Look at this. Secondhand gifting a tier 1 sub to my daughter. How about that? How about that? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The restaurant says it couldn't have been the wind because the trees in the video aren't moving, and also shut down suggestions that it was someone smoking or vaping. It's not lights from the car because you can see how others are picked up, and there's a horizontal wind blowing, so what can this be? The Facebook post reads. The video shows police officers responding to the alarms shortly after. Okay, so this is what the actual post said. Our building, the Rockingham, is well known for its ghosts, and notably the ones in the library basement. Last night, for the very first time, our motion detector alarms inside the building were set off by this camera motion caught on video in the dead of night outside the window. The motion detectors inside cannot see what the camera outside sees. It's not lights from the car because you can see how others are picked up. There's no horizontal wind blowing. So what can this be? Make of it what you will, but this has never happened before. Spooky coincidence for this time of year. P.S. Our police rock. Showing up. Check out is all in double time quick. 1 minute, 18 seconds. Those commenting on the restaurant Facebook page were divided about whether something paranormal actually occurred. It's just steam or fog, one person wrote. You can see the poltergeist going by the camera. Very cool, another said. Others claim to have ghastly encounters in the building before. I've been to the library many times. I assure you there's a female ghost in the bathroom area. Again, what is it about the bathroom area? What is it about the bathroom area? Let's click to expand. There we go. Much better. All right. So this is an IR security camera. Really? That's it? That's all you got for me? So something like this. I mean, all right, first off, let's start from the beginning again. And let me see real quick. I wanted to see October. Okay. So I have a couple things about this. First off, I will say the optics of a security camera, not easy. It's easy now. We're not going to get into this is BS kind of thing. All right, we're not going to get that intense on it. We're going to try to analyze this and just kind of debunk it in a more friendly sort of way, in a Casper sort of way, if you will, a friendly ghost sort of way. First off, October. It's October in Portsmouth. Okay. And New Hampshire, as Spence can attest, because Spence actually lived in that area for a while, and October tends to get a little colder, a little faster than the rest of the United States. So temperature is going to be an issue. Temperature is going to be an issue. All right. The other thing too, security cameras, particularly security cameras that have IR. They are going to have better, that's a pine bush right there, yeah. But they're going to have better IR, okay? They're going to have better infrared, okay? They have to because they're security cameras. And the more modern the security cameras, the more detail you're going to be able to get from what you're capturing. For example, look at this statue of the lion. There's a lot of detail that you're seeing in that lion. And that's something, that's good to know. You'll have better optics, not great optics, but you'll have better optics than you will with a dash cam. And here we go. Pipperico with a follow. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate you. Welcome to the stream. So you're gonna have better optics with a security camera. Matter of fact, that's one of the things that you might hear some people talk about. Do security cameras make for good paranormal investigation cameras? Yes and no. Yes, they make great affordable security cameras, and sometimes they're USB powered or they you can plug them in using USB. That's great. The downside about them though is that 9 times out of 10 security cameras are there because security cameras are there for visuals. They're not there for anything audio. And if you want to get quality audio out of an IR camera, a security and you're going down the security camera route, well, it's going to be a little more expensive. Something to consider. Okay, something to consider. As far as this one is concerned, I think it looks like it's pretty good quality. Excuse me as I adjust the. All right, as I adjust my mic again. And for the most part, the resolution is not bad. That's actually pretty decent resolution for a security camera. And when you get security footage like this, you're gonna probably guesstimate, okay, this security camera is maybe 5 years old, maybe even 10. And yeah, even 10 years back, the security cameras at that time are actually pretty good. They're always going to encourage you to up your security cameras by, every 3 to 5 years. Maybe, if you can afford it, every 1 to 2 years. But as far as this place's camera is concerned, this is a pretty decent camera, it looks like. Now, let's look at the actual footage itself. So we have, I didn't miss it, did I? I don't think I did. Yeah. And a few seconds later, you're going to see it again. Yeah. Okay. Is that paranormal? House versus business. Yes. There's going to be a difference there. It'd be very interesting to go on Google Maps and see what building is on the right. Yes, that is. That would also make a big difference. What is on the right? Is anything putting off heat on the right? And also because you're a little higher up, that is also, the air is going to be cooler. So if somebody even opens a window and that condenses with, that reacts with the cold air up there, it's gonna create that. Do I think it's paranormal? No. Just because the wind is not moving the trees, it doesn't mean that if you have something with heat, according to the weather history, the temperature was around 45 to 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that cold enough to see breath? No, it is not. So if the weather history was that warm, what's the place called again? All right, let's find this out. The place is called. That is not enough to see, see your breath. That goes. Yeah. It was the Library Restaurant in Portsmouth. Library Restaurant in Portsmouth. So if it was 45 to 47, then that would be chilly, but not enough to say it's paranormal. But the problem I have with this is that, well, first off, there's another problem I have with this video. All right, I'll let it play again. Okay, so in about 15 seconds, it's not dust. It's definitely not dust. If it was dust, we'd actually see some particles in there. So it should be coming by. So it goes by. And then there's another one. And then another one goes by. Honestly, there could have been a car around the corner that was starting up. If there was, it looks a little too nondescript to be something paranormal. If it was paranormal, hang on. Bless my wife. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it can't be anything from around the corner. It can't be anything from around the corner because there's no street around this corner. The other thing about this particular this particular building is that there is street parking all the way along. So if there's no corner, but there is street parking on there, it could have been a delivery truck that it was just starting off, and the exhaust was carried down from a delivery truck that's off on this corner. It's not it's also moving. I will tell you, it's a bit like trying to explain away dust as orbs. When you see dust, it basically goes in one direction. That's what this mist is doing. It's just going in one direction, and there's another one going in the same direction. There's another going in the same direction. So what you're telling me is that 3 ghosts went by this camera because they're having a conference on the other side of this building. Honestly, it's a little too consistent. Now, if deliveries happen at all different times, Twitch Mom. They happen at all different times. And this could have just been a night. Yeah, you can also tell that it is not that cold that night, because if you take a look at it is definitely not, I will say what it is not. It is not a mist created by temperature, because if you look at this police officer who looks like he is armed for bear. Good God. Give me a second here. Okay, no, that's just a bunch of. For a second, I thought he had like an assault rifle on his chest. There was no one vaping, because, that's fine. But you'll also notice too, these guys are wearing t-shirts, so it wasn't that cold, unless these guys are the kind of guys that wear t-shirts when it's cold. I'm not going to say anything about that. But do I think that mist was paranormal? It would have been paranormal if it had gone one way and then come back the next. It would have been paranormal if it had had more of a shape to it. It's a little too inconclusive for me to say if it's paranormal or not. I don't think it is. I honestly do not think it is paranormal. What else could it be? It could be exhaust from a truck or a delivery vehicle, or from someone starting up their vehicle that's further down this side of the road. It's hard to tell which way the wind is blowing. Obviously, if the wind is blowing, it could be blowing this way. But the shapelessness of it, yes. When people talk about mists and the paranormal, most of the time they're not saying, well, a mist just floated in front of me. Usually the mist has to take some type of shape, some type of form. It has to solidify into something. So, So that's why I'm saying that no, I do not think it's paranormal. Here's another reason why I'm a little skeptical of restaurants when they talk about them being haunted. Okay. There was a Ghost Hunters episode, and I don't remember which episode it was, but there was a Ghost Hunters episode where Taps was called in to investigate this spirit that haunted this restaurant somewhere out in California. And they went there. They were getting ready to just, spend the night, ask questions and everything. And they're sitting there and they're asking questions. They're checking it out. Everything's very quiet. None of the devices are going off. Everything is very, very still. They then go on ahead and they start going through the bar itself. And they said, well, there's something about, they were talking about something about with the bar, where the glasses would shake. So Jason, I think it was Jason, got up on the bar and was looking at the bar, and he said, hey, hang on a second. And he noticed that the apparatus that was holding all the glasses went into the ceiling, but in a weird way. So he popped one of the tiles so he could see, on, like you saw in Aliens, where they pop open the tile and they see all the aliens coming. That's not what Jason saw. But he went up there and he noticed there was a little motor. There was a motor up there, and it was connected to the apparatus that had this one row of glasses that everybody said the ghost shook that, right? So then they said, well, okay, that's debunked because this is rigged. So then they go to the bathroom where they say they found that there was a voice that would whisper to people when they would go in there. The moment they walked into the bathroom, they heard the whisper. But they both said, hang on a second. They stepped out, walked back in, boom, they hear the voice a second time. And they looked up around the door, and sure enough, there was a catch by the door, and it was wired to something up in the ceiling that had a little voice box to it, and then that voice box would trigger off whenever anybody would go into the bathroom. And then they said there was this thing where people saw someone staring back at them from the mirror. They get up to the mirror, they take a closer look at it. By this point, Jason Hawes is about to punch a bitch. He was furious because he was like, this is like trying to, ghost hunt at a fun house. And sure enough, they found out that there was a two-way mirror and that there was, in fact, a blue mannequin dummy, on the other side of the mirror. So whenever restaurants say, oh, yeah, we're haunted, I'm like, yeah, you also kind of enjoy business. So I don't know. I'm always really super critical of that sort of thing. I also remember another TAP story where they went to go and investigate this very famous, reputedly haunted restaurant in New Orleans. They get there, and they were having some kind of business conference. So they had all their recording devices out, and it was useless. It was useless because there was a party right next door. I honestly see nothing paranormal in this video. I just think it's it was also, keep in mind too, this story, it was reported in October. And don't all businesses say they're haunted? Yeah, they do. This was also October 20th. So I'm sure that WBZ News was looking for some spooky stuff to say or spooky stuff to share. Okay. So this right here is the flying cylinder. Again, my wife found these for me. So this should be interesting. Let's see what this is. Let's see what this is. Okay. Is this some dude's drone? Uh-huh. Again, one of the biggest problems with this video is, okay, Chris, take care. A big problem with this video is, again, we're dealing with digital optics, and because you're working with digital optics, yeah. And it's one of the things that I find a lot of problems with paranormal videos on a whole. I'll probably be saying it again and again and again for the Grim Gazette, that when you have like the technology that's in this current phone, right? And you've got this, you've got the optics of this phone that are good enough to probably film a straight up ready for post-production film, like a feature film. You could probably shoot it off the iPhone right now. That's how good the optics are in here. But then when people turn in stuff that they say, oh, it's paranormal, I caught it on my phone, I'm like, okay, how long have you been using a Nokia flip phone? Because it just feels like that's always the video that you find off of people's phones. It's a phone from the 90s. And so, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right here. Yeah. Another real problem with this, you'll notice that the pixels around the object, when you see this type of pixelation, when it gets dark like that, it usually insinuates that there is some type of masking that's involved. There's some kind of masking that's involved, and it's something you have to be very conscientious of when you're looking at footage like this. Yeah. The clouds passing in front was actually quite good. I got to admit, the clouds passing in front, that's a good touch. But when you see this, when you see that haze, that halo around the object, and people are saying, "Oh yeah, it was there," that's either a combination of bad camera optics, masking, or both. So you have to take caution with that. It would have also been nice. It would have also been nice if we could have had a zoomed in version, and then, or rather, we would have had the standard version and then the zoomed in version, just to see the difference. Now again, here, this is a cheap camera. This is a cheap camera, cheap optics. This. Yeah. This is why I get so aggravated with UFO footage. I honestly think sometimes UFO footage can be easier debunked than it can be debunked a lot easier than paranormal footage. This one, I got to admit, from this viewpoint, it's very convincing. It's very convincing. I think one of the bigger issues. Yes, thank you. We're zooming in now. Thank you very much. Again, when you zoom in, when you zoom in like this, I don't think I should be seeing all of these pixels around this. It does look like a meteorite, but in reverse. But we'll get back to the night one in just a moment. Now, hang on. Okay. Yeah, it kind of blips out here, and I don't think it's not a focus issue, because you'll notice that the clouds aren't struggling to be in focus, but when you get to the actual object in question, that's a different matter altogether. Okay, what is my? Aw. My wife is being distracting. She's sending, while I'm trying to do important work here with debunking UFO footage. My wife is sending me pictures of Dorito snuggling with Sebastian, which is awfully damn sweet. Okay, let's get back to this. All right, so yeah, the blip out, the blip out where you're trying to focus on the object. That's a bit sus, because nothing else is struggling to pop in. Now this is just a shoddy camera. So as far as do I think it's a flying saucer? Do I think it's one of these flying cylinders? No. But do I know what it is? No, I don't know that either. I just know that when it reaches this point, it disappears behind the pipe, and then it just kind of disappears from view. Could this have been put in post-production? Sure, it could. Do I know that for sure? No, I don't. Again, I don't think this is a UFO. I don't think it's anything paranormal. It's also at an airport, which that kind of rule. I can also state very clearly, I don't think it's a small aircraft of any kind, because if it were, there would be running lights on it of some description, especially if it's at an airport. So this one, I did want my wife to challenge me. I didn't want her to just send me stuff that was blatantly easy. But as far as this footage is concerned, I don't know what it is, but I also know what it isn't. So that's as good as I got, everybody. Let's see what it says here. I'm just curious what everyone makes of these recent cylinder videos. First two posted on 11/14 by YouTube, Mr. MB333. The first one's somewhat compelling. First glance, we should be able to make some structural features. Same with the second video. The third video is the recent Minnesota meteor video. Just thought it was interesting that the 3 intriguing Tic Tac-esque videos should surface such a short time. Curious what what they think. I mean, now here's the thing, though. Here's what I this is just something else that, food for thought, if you will, is that yeah, I can't identify it. So does that make it an unidentified flying object? I don't think it's a secret military plane either. You know what? It could easily be a bat. It could easily be a bug because of the terrible optics of the camera. That does that does factor in. That does factor in. Now, before we get, I can already tell you what the problems I'm going to have with this video, but I will wait to get to that. Okay, so it's basically somebody runs by the doorway. Let's have a look. Oh, well, not that way. Okay, here we go. Right. So somebody runs by the doorway. Here's the first big problem that I have with this video. It's 2 seconds long. And there really is, you have to time it just right to, even get a glimpse of what's running by that video. Okay, so there it is. Whatever this thing was that ran by the video, it's between this frame and this frame. And we can't even... So here's why we cannot say it's paranormal. One, it is shot from one angle. That is the biggest problem with... Well, no, that's not the biggest problem with the video. The biggest problem with the video, it's 2 seconds long. So there's very little that you can do with that. Secondly, it is horrible quality. You can just see that the jagged line of the doorway and whatever that is behind her. If that's first off, we can't even tell what she's shooting. Is she doing a selfie of herself? Is she taking a photograph? It's kind of hard to figure out what she's doing in that photograph. But whatever the case is, it's causing glare that is futzing with all of the optics of what is doing the recording. It'd be nice to think, oh, that's a shadow. It'd be nice to think it's a shadow figure. But the problem is, it could also be, well, let's find out in the thread if anybody goes, I mean, it's Reddit, so people are going to go for the funny. Conveniently low quality. That's the one that always kills videos like this. Yeah, the way she's angled is also very weird. And also that's the thing, when you watch it in the lower resolution, in the smaller setting, it looks quite convincing. But there's an additional problem you run into in that yes, it looks very convincing there, but the moment I blow it up, the resolution is gone. And it looks like, this could be that's the other thing. Another problem with this video, and again, am I saying that this is not paranormal? Yes, I am. Because we don't know the following. What was the lead up and what was the following? Because if you see it here, she should see it, she should hear it. There should be something that should be should be making a sound like that. So we have no idea what happened before or after this video. Second, it's only 2 seconds. When I first started sitting down with Phil and we were doing clip review as opposed to doing the full footage review that we now do on Old Spirits, Phil would send me 5 to 10 second clips. And I said, Phil, these need to be 3 times longer. And he said, what? And I said, you need to have roughly 10 seconds at the beginning. The 10 seconds around the moment where something paranormal happens, and then the follow through 10 seconds afterwards. That way you can rule out any weird sounds that happen. You know, could have been traffic, could have been somebody coming up, could have been somebody taking a breath, that sort of thing. That's the first thing. Secondly, 2 seconds is it may be 2 seconds may be an eternity on stage, but in a film clip, it's instant. Third problem is we have no context. We don't know if this girl has a little brother. We have no idea what this girl is doing. And again, good call, Spence. The angle of the camera is a little wonky, and there's just too many inconsistencies about this. Did he open that? Hold on one second. I gotta check something real quick here. Did you open that? No, you didn't. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. What did you do? Oh, you didn't. Okay, good. You just knocked it down. Okay. Whoopsie. What? Look, don't listen to your Uncle Benedict, okay? He will tell you the ways of GamerCat, but that is your place. Same way Benedict is on his now. If you want to be on camera, Benedict, you got to be where now you got to be where Hicks is. Tag, you're it. Okay, all right. So yeah, this is I don't know. Now here's why I don't think it's staged. I don't think it's staged because it does look like the typical. It looks like the typical like selfie. That's the other problem too. I can't tell if she is film. It looks like she is filming herself in a reflection in a mirror, but it just the composition of the video clip is something of a mess, so that makes it even harder to break down. I don't think it's staged, but it's pretty sloppy. So, really, I mean, bless their cotton socks. They got nearly 550 upvotes, but yeah, I'm not impressed. It's something runs past the doorway. Looks like it'd be called small kid by its size. I commented some pictures of the doorway showing that no human could have ran that fast in such a little space. Now, that's not necessarily true. Especially if you're filming, if a kid could easily run by a doorway without any issue and make it look that fast. So, kind of forgettable. Now, this one is 9 seconds long, so that's a bit of an issue. My mom caught my dead dog in a live video. Okay. My dog died about a year before this was taken. My mom was taking a picture of a decoration on my dining room table and realized something in the back of the live picture. I slowed it down so you guys could take a look and let me know what you think. All right. So now, what I'm gathering is this is a live picture. This is a live picture that has been downloaded in video, so we can take a look at it. This ought to be intriguing. I'm going to play that again. Okay. Huh. Obviously, it is a dog. It is a dog in the picture. I mean, yeah. There is some kind of dog in this picture or some kind of animal in this picture. Hi there, Christella. I mean, All right, what was the details about the... My dog died about a year before this was taken. My mom was taking a picture of a decoration on my dining room table and realized something in the back of the live picture. I slowed it down so you guys can take a look and let me know what you think. So the mom was taking a picture of this decoration, and she caught the dog. At this resolution, it pops. I won't lie there. At this resolution, it pops. It moves like a dog. But again, and here is where you really do need to, this is where you need to, kind of take a step back and go, okay, well, what else do we have? And unfortunately, we don't have any context. Again, we have to take it at face value. Is there a dog in that picture? It sure looks like it. Okay, it says that he says that his dog died the year before. How do we know it's not someone else's dog? How do we know it isn't the dog of another family member or another friend? It's a little vague, and again, it can't be. It's very hard to say that it's paranormal, because there is no way you can take that one photograph and go, okay, well, have we tried anything else? Have we tried, leaving a recorder, seeing if we pick up the sound of, dogs, a dog's claws against the floor? That's a tough one. That's a tough one, because I can't necessarily dismiss it, but I also can't. Again, I don't have enough context. Would I like to think that it's a phantom dog? Absolutely. I would love to think it's a phantom dog. The other thing I'd love to think about it with that phantom dog is that it is a big bonus about that. Let me pull that up again. Another great thing about this is that it's in broad daylight. The fact that he caught this in broad daylight, or that the mom caught it in broad daylight, that's pretty damn cool. Now, one of the things that I would say is, I don't want to say sus. Usually, when you get a live picture, let me see if I can time it. It's between where it is in the timeline here and the timeline here that you get the picture. So it's near the end. It's near the end of the clip. It's near the end of the live picture where we see the dog movement. Now that is kind of compelling, because if you ever take a look at your live photos, whenever you look at your live photos, you'll notice that the featured photo of a live photo is usually in the middle or somewhere near the beginning. It is rarely, if ever, at the very end. So that I find a little mysterious. So far, of all the things that I've looked at, this one warrants a little bit more investigation. It's also weird as hell. It's weird as hell. Provided there is no other pet in this house, provided nobody else has brought a pet. That was a good find, Pip. That was a really good find. Really interesting. Because you can see the tip of the tail here, and then you see what looks like a dog's ear here. It's too bad because the The live pictures do come with sound. It's too bad he didn't have the sound in there either. I don't think he does. Now, one of the other problems that I have with this, though, but I don't think that's a problem. It looks like at the very beginning, it looks like somebody jostles the camera. That could just be somebody just holding the camera steady. This one I would say is kind of inconclusive. It's so and to find that's a good one. There's a lot of discussion I'm sure Phil and I would have over this one. This one is not as easy to debunk. It's not as easy to debunk. It feels pretty legit. I would want to come back to this location and maybe run a few devices just to see if we pick up any weird sounds, particularly at night. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Okay. So let's look at this one. Texas cam photos. So my friend has a bunch of hunting cameras that she's been telling me about this image that popped up on her cams. And well, today she showed me. Any thoughts? So they're trying to say that this is something cryptid-like. And I hate to break it to them, but that's not how trail cams work. One, is this a still clip from a video, or does the trail cam do still shots? If it's only still shots, if something is that close to a trail cam, it's not going to be the best resolution. It's just not going to be. This could easily be, two eyes and a snout. That could be, it could be, this could be an ear, it could be two ears. I am not convinced that this is a cryptid. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be really honest with you, chat, and it drives Phil nuts. When it comes to cryptids, I am a hard sell on that. I would believe in UFOs far sooner than cryptids. Why, you may ask? When it comes to ghosts, yes, I do. I now do believe that ghosts are very real because of some of the weird stuff that's happened to me and Pip and Phil and my daughter. I mean, we've all had some weird stuff happen at some of these different locations. And that's my wife coming in with the Guy Ritchie reference. What that is one of 17 hungry pigs. Do you know what the term nemesis means? You want sugar, Big Top? Nah, thanks, Turkish. I'm sweet enough.
This is great.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone want a hug?
Thank you.
No hugs.
I do pretty good, Brick Top, eh? I have to be careful, though, that my Brick Top doesn't slip into my Jonathan Lamb from Slow Horses. God, if I start quoting Slow Horses, I'm gonna violate my own rules there. No, that could easily be some wildlife just taking a closer sniff of whatever this trail cam is. So, do I think that is a cryptid? No, I do not. But yeah, in the words of Phil Rossi, after meeting the mountain monster hunters, that was Phil said, yeah, that set me back about 5 years. So yeah, it's going to be a while before I really buy into the cryptid movement, because while the equipment used to find ghosts is still kind of experimental. Well, not kind of. It's very experimental. The principles of EMF fields and motion detectors, how sensitive they are, et cetera, et cetera. We have this type of technology. There should be no question that somebody captures the presence of Bigfoot or something along those lines. So yeah, I find the cryptid theory, Mothman, Bigfoot, all that stuff. That's a harder pill to swallow for me. Now, there was something, though, that Phil is very much a believer of, that I'm like, okay, if cryptids are a thing, I could kind of see this as being a thing. But Phil is under the impression that the paranormal ghost research and ghosts in general, UFOs and cryptids all have some overarching connection. Do I believe in that? I think that might be plausible. Cryptids are a hard sell for me, though. They're a hard sell for me. They'll always be a hard sell for me. All right. Okay, brace, everybody. We're now heading into the world of TikTok.
Things humans weren't meant to see.
Easy there, easy.
UFO caught at gas station.
All right. Here's where we really have to steel ourselves and take a look. Okay, so things humans weren't meant to see. And this is a UFO caught at a gas station.
Things humans weren't meant to see.
Now, that right there,
UFO caught at gas station.
Right there, that's just a balloon. I'm sorry, but that's a balloon. That's a balloon of some weird description attached to a wild horse from what it looks like.
Things humans weren't meant to see. UFO caught at gas station.
Here we go.
Things humans weren't meant to see. UFO caught at gas station.
I want to be nice about this. Yeah. First off, it is clear when you're listening to, the silence is deafening. That's problem number one. Or unless you're saying to me, the silence is deafening. Yeah. Well, for one thing, it is clear that the audio track for this video clip has been juiced. It's been doctored. It's been sweetened. It has been, somebody dropped in a sound effect there. And because they dropped in the sound effect, my pregnant pause. Yeah. I'm trying to be nice. Again, that's the thing. I'm trying to do this from, you step back, you look at this and you look at it objectively. There's obviously, first off, the number one thing about posting any of these clips onto Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. One thing you don't want to do is actually give it a soundtrack. You don't want to have that creepy music playing in the background. You want it to be quiet so people can hear the audio. And that is the biggest problem that I'm already noticing about this clip is that they dropped in the original sound frightening, right? They dropped in that soundtrack. The minute you drop in a soundtrack, you're altering the core evidence, and you really don't want to do this. What's really disheartening is that this video has gotten 13,000 likes, 193 comments, has been shared 91 times, and has been favorited nearly 2,000 times. And yeah, that's where it gets aggravating, because this is the stuff you find under things humans were never meant to see. Scary, horror, creepy, FYP, right? If something that big were flying that fast and that slow, that low and slow, you'd hear something. You would definitely hear something. But what I'm noticing straight off the bat is that he dropped in the sound. He dropped in the soundtrack, but he also dropped in. It's been clear that he dropped in some sort of.
Humans weren't meant to see. UFO caught at gas station.
Also, why is this person filming something walking out of a gas? Why is this person filming himself walking out of a gas station? context is everything. Why is this gentleman or lady walking out of a gas station and deciding, yeah, I'm gonna film something? And see that sound right there. I don't know if that is the soundtrack, or I don't know if that is, quote unquote, the sound that this thing made when it right before everybody sees it. The other thing too is that, I'm sorry, this dude in the red pickup truck. Why isn't he stopping? Why isn't he stopping and just saying, hold up, and not whipping out his own phone and filming it? Because that would be instant. That'd be instant traffic for him. So you'll also notice too in the background, traffic is moving along like nobody cares. They're moving along like nobody cares.
Things humans
Just
weren't
one
meant
more
to
time.
see.
Just one more time.
UFO caught at gas station.
See, traffic is just moving along, and then this comes in. And as the comments say, someone's like, well, somebody needs some snacks. Well, if they were getting snacks, they'd be stopping at a Sheetz. I'm sorry, intelligent life form. Maybe picking up some sheep's fries and that sweet Cinnabon shake. But no, I hate to say this. I think this was created with some post special effects. And that's it's the thing I get the most aggravated about UFO stuff. A lot of the UFO or now, to be more hip, the UAPs. Yeah, you know me. UAP. Yeah, you know me. One of the biggest hangups I have about UAP footage is that it is usually shot, like in the Jack Osbourne special, they were shooting with these really super sensitive light cameras that were shooting up at the stars, and they were picking up a satellite that was going across. And they were convinced, no, that's a UFO because, according to this app, there's not supposed to be a satellite there. Well, we have a lot of stuff in the air. We have a lot of other countries who also have a lot of stuff in the air. And, our government likes to keep some stuff up in the air secret, and I'm sure other governments do the same. Which is why when it's a passing satellite, or if it's a shooting star or something like that, that's aggravating. This kind of footage, yeah. I wish that there was some solid UFO footage or UAP footage that was this good. But yeah, this is not that footage. People are just a little too chill, little too. Oh yeah, just another day ends in Y, I guess. Okay, we have another TikTok video here
on October 25th.
Okay, this is from Paranormal Talker. Okay. We're now into the realm of paranormal TikTok. And we're saying that we caught the Grim Reaper on camera. Okay, let's see how this goes. Everybody. Now this is a 2-minute video, so we have potential. We have some potential here.
On October 25th of 2022, a paramedic posted a video of something freaky that occurred during his lunch break. The video is pretty short, so not much happens, but it's a certain detail caught in this footage that
not 100% sure why this person is choosing to do this, but okay, you do you.
Makes it quite disturbing. The video begins with the paramedic filming inside a hospital where a couple of surgeons are getting ready to transfer a very sick patient to a different wing. The paramedic walks out of the hospital to record them coming through. It isn't until later that the doctors arrive with the sick patient, who according to them passed away only hours later. The paramedic then stops recording. Now, it was only after finishing work that the paramedic had watched this video and noticed something strange about it. Looking back at the footage, They noticed that during the time they were waiting outside for the doctors to arrive, something unusual was caught in the background. Take a look.
Okay. Don't even have to crane my neck on this one. So the problem with this video, I'm sorry. Again, this is episode 0. This is episode 0 of the Grim Gazette. So I'm trying very hard to get into make certain habits for myself. So what is happening here? And this is the thing you got to notice, particularly when it comes to shadow figures. And this was something that I had to check and double check and triple check when I caught my first shadow figure at Crescent SCI. Okay, so the first problem is, for whatever reason, they decided this was what they were going to do with the video. They were going to optimize it for TikTok, but they were going to leave it. This is obviously optimized for a horizontal player, but the this paranormal talker is doing this. So I don't get why they didn't just fix this, but okay. So what they're saying is that there was a figure.
If you look closely at the hallway inside the hospital, a dark, shadow-like figure can be seen standing at the end of the hall. It's there for just a few seconds before suddenly disappearing from sight. The paramedic has no idea as to who or even what this might have been, but judging by its appearance, viewers believe that an entity of some sort was seen. They further add that this entity might have been death itself, considering that the patient in this video passed away that same day. Yet it's still not sure as to what was captured.
Okay. So when you see videos like this, and I must admit, very polished, highly produced videos, because that voiceover is choice. That voiceover is really slick. It's very nice. How many views are we looking at? 537, nearly 37,500 views. Okay. All right. Okay. You do you. So here's the first question you ask yourself when you're analyzing a video like this. Here we go.
On October 25th of 2022,
okay, so they give a date, October 5th, 2022. It'd be great if you could, check up on where this was or what happened at this hospital. But here's what you're going to notice. Now, they give a date, which is nice. It timestamps it. It gives it a little more validity. But here's what happens.
Paramedic posted a video of something freaky that occurred during his lunch break.
A paramedic posted something freaky during his lunch break. A paramedic. Okay.
The video is pretty short, so not much happens.
And again, we're optimized for horizontal, but we're gonna leave it in portrait mode because of reasons. Okay.
But it's a certain detail caught in this footage that makes it quite disturbing. The video begins with the paramedic filming inside a hospital.
Video begins with a paramedic filming inside of a hospital. Okay. What hospital? Can we at least find out if we know who the paramedic was with? See, the date makes it sound very official, but then it's a paramedic is filming at a hospital. Okay, first off, why is the paramedic filming at a hospital? This is all very random footage. That's the other thing that is a little it gives me pause, because first off, if a paramedic is filming at a hospital, I'd really like to know why. Because I have friends who are paramedics. You don't just whip out your phone and start filming your day. That's not how that goes. You have to have a good reason to be doing this.
Where a couple of surgeons are getting ready to transfer a very sick patient to a
Where a couple of surgeons are about to start working on a very sick patient. That's pretty broad. That is really broad. Now, granted, you're probably sitting there and you're saying, "Well, T, hang on, you gotta protect the names that are involved and all this stuff." That's very true. That's very true. But it's now getting a little too big. A paramedic at a hospital with a surgeon and a very sick patient. I mean, but we had on October 5th, 2022. So we had a very, it wasn't like a few years ago but on October 5th, 2022. So we have a date. We have a very specific date, but we don't know where it is. We don't know the paramedic. We don't know the hospital. We don't know the surgeon for obvious reasons. We don't know the patient, again, for obvious reasons, unless if that patient is passed, this person's death would be recorded somewhere. But there's no way to confirm that. There's no way to confirm that apart from the date. And if you want to go through and try to find across the entire planet, because we don't know if this is we don't even know if this is in the United States. All we know, it's a paramedic. There's somebody, really sick, and they're cutting in the middle of this footage that the paramedic shot. They're cutting into it stock photography and stock video. So that doesn't help the validity now. It's starting to get a little diluted.
different wing. The paramedic walks out of the hospital to record them coming through.
Why? Why is this paramedic recording this event? That's not just sus. That's creepy. A paramedic is going to be way busier to be able to just say, you know what, Bob? That's his partner. You know what, Bob? I think I'm going to go and film this patient because I got a feeling something weird is going to happen. So already, alarm bells are going off. Alarm bells are going off.
It isn't until later that the doctors arrive with a sick patient who, according to them, passed away only hours later.
Okay, why are they telling this again? Why are they telling this rando paramedic, oh yeah, this guy died later, right? And why are they taking this dead patient outside? The questions abound. Questions abound.
The paramedic then stops recording. Now, it was only after finishing work that the paramedic had watched this video and noticed something strange about it. Looking back at the footage, they noticed that during the time they were waiting outside for the doctors to arrive, something unusual was caught in the background.
And then they basically say, yeah, and the paramedic is filming all of this. Again, I keep asking myself, why is the paramedic doing this? This is really odd behavior from the paramedic. Now, they're talking about, if you look right down here, this is again the camera's optics. And again, it looks like an older phone. It looks like an older phone. It is not the quality of this phone that I've got in my hand. It is not even the quality of the iPhone X. We're talking, this is not what I would call great quality. You can see some of the graininess just from this image here. But now we get to the weird stuff.
Take a look.
Also, why is the guy? I'm trying to figure out how he's cutting off his camera, and why he would cover up his lens like that. Did you catch that? He happened to zoom in. He happened to zoom in. See, with all the jostling, it's really hard to focus. It's really hard for not only me to focus on it.
If you look closely at the hallway inside the
yeah, if you look closely inside the hallway, you can see that this is a doorway, and that the camera is trying again with the limited optics that this clearly older phone has. It's trying really hard to fill in the blanks here. Now, this is one of the reasons why we upgraded, we being old spirits, we upgraded our cameras to better optics, because at one time I was convinced that I caught a shadow figure, or I caught the shadows literally extending themselves towards us when we were in the tunnels of Crescent. And I kept staring at it, I kept looking at it, and then I realized this was the camera trying to work with the IR emitters, and it was trying to figure out where the floor stopped and the shadows started. Now, that's really important to know, because cameras with really bad optics, or cameras with inexpensive optics, they're going to go on ahead and they're going to try to fill in the blanks. As I said at the very beginning, that's what's happening here. The camera is trying to fill in the blanks of what is clearly a doorway in some kind of hallway, and it's a very shallow hallway. But
Hospital, a dark, shadow-like figure can be seen standing at the end of the hall.
now,
It's there for just a few seconds.
when we get to this point of the video, it's hard to say if that is altered video or not. Someone has taken this clip and and they're zhuzhing it. They're having fun with it. They're having fun with the video, to say the least. But no, I do not think this is paranormal. I think this is a case of optics and yeah.
Seconds before suddenly disappearing from sight.
And making something like this is a very simple effect. Especially, it's a very simple effect, especially when you're working with footage that that is coming from an inexpensive camera.
Seconds before suddenly disappearing from sight.
Now, there's another problem here. The other thing you gotta check about this. And if you can figure it out before I can tell you, I'll play it one more time. And if you can figure it out before I tell you, good on you. But here's the problem.
It's there for just a few seconds before suddenly disappearing from sight.
Yeah, it appears from sight on this video because there's a transition in here. They put a fade between the zoom in and the closing image.
A few seconds before suddenly disappearing from sight.
Yeah.
The paramedic has no idea as to who. Few seconds before suddenly disappearing from sight.
I'll jump back even further. Okay, so we do this.
If you look closely at the hallway inside the hospital, a dark, shadow-like figure can be seen standing at the end of the hall. It's there for just a few seconds before suddenly disappearing from sight.
And that's a fade.
The paramedic has no idea as to who or even what this might have been.
The
But judging by
paramedic.
its appearance, viewers believe that an entity of some sort was seen. They further add that this entity might have been death itself, considering that the patient in this video passed away that same day.
And because this, it's No Face, Slender Man. It's Slender Man, but Slender Man was like, subletting, so he was kind of, keeping it. The other problem too we've got here is that, yeah, this guy passed away, so we're gonna give him some sun, some fresh air. That'll do him just fine. Yeah, this is I was already on the debunk table when we started with the dramatic music. Doing this, hey, I'm gonna put this on TikTok, but obviously we have like maybe a YouTube or a Venmo channel or something like that. No, this is there's a lot of problems with this video. And when you start overproducing your segments like this, your evidence becomes problematic. It becomes extremely problematic. So this one, this particular video, I've already seen, so I know what's coming next, and I wanted to show something tonight that for the episode 0, I wanted to show something tonight that I really did want to vouch for, as here's the way of looking at something and going, oh, that's hard to explain away. So this is the most recent episode at the time of this stream. It's the most recent episode of Paranormal Quest. Now, if you don't know Paranormal Quest, you should go on ahead and look them up on YouTube. They are a phenomenal group out of West Virginia. I like these guys a lot, and they're a lot of fun to watch. They just did a public event at this place. It's a Bentonville school. I'm not sure if it's a middle school or a high school or an all-purpose school, but I want you to watch this segment, and then we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at it. This happens at 5 minutes and 45 seconds into the episode, and he's about to reference the public event that they just held at this place. And you'll notice in the title it says "Terrifying Ghost in Photo." Well, we're going to get to that.
That we had a crazy experience here just 2 nights ago when we did a public event with some subscribers of the channel who came out.
That's a pretty damn good turnout, in my opinion. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they had well over 20, probably 30 people there, but good on them. Good on them. It's very cool. These are all subs to their channel. It's very cool. All right.
Investigated with us. What occurred at the beginning of the night left all of us just completely shocked.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely shocking stuff, for sure.
So we started the night in this room behind Dave.
So that's Ryan, and that's Miranda. She sometimes pops up, and she's a delight. She's a delight. Okay. And then Dave, you're going to see probably Dave a little bit later. So here we go.
We took a big selfie with everyone that attended, and we were answering questions and taking pictures. Before the investigation even started, one of the guests ran into the room and she was beside herself because she said she captured a picture of a shadow. And it is...
All right. Now, when I first saw this, and when Pip first saw this, because Pip watched this with me, we were wondering, is this part of her outfit? And you'll see what we mean by are we asking if it's part of her coat or something, because this was a recent public event and everybody was bundled up. It was apparently very chilly where they are, and you'll notice there's a ruff of what looks like a hood there, but you'll also notice this is her shoulder. That is behind her. This image is behind her. Okay, that's the first thing I want to point out.
Is, to say the least, very confusing. The picture was taken from right here at this door. She said she felt like she was being watched from out this window. So she was taking pictures out over this open field that's right outside of the school here. In that moment, she said she felt like she felt an energy, a presence, some sort of uneasy feeling behind her. So she turned her phone around and just snapped a picture over her shoulder. And when she did, right here in front of this door behind Miranda, in this spot right here, there was some sort of black shadowy mass standing right in this little alcove.
All right. So there are a couple things that I really love about what they do on Paranormal Quest and what I want to point out here. One, Ryan is giving you every bit of context of what's going on in this moment. He is not missing one beat, and that's something I love about these guys. When they're telling these events, when they're recounting even stuff that happens to them, they go into excruciating detail of what is going on here. Now, this is taken obviously from this woman's phone. She did it over her shoulder. So if we are to believe this woman, and Ryan and Dave, they don't do the Baggins method, okay? These guys are pretty legit. And I love what they do. They even call themselves out if they debunk something. They call something out when they have a slow night. But this is pretty intriguing because this woman caught this figure, and this is That's a pretty solid catch right there. It's not part of her outfit because there's her shoulder. It's not like the hood because the hood is down here. And you'll also notice too that it does look like it has at least a third dimension of some sort, right? It is roughly the height of what would be a student that would be there. If you looked close enough, you could see the discoloration of an arm here. Now, let's go back to that earlier clip that we were looking at where it was just a nondescript mist. It was 3 gusts, and one of the things that Pip pointed out when I took my break was that there was a vent very close to that particular camera. So even in the 40s, if a vent was spewing something out, it could very easily have gone in front of that camera. But this is indoors. It's a solid mass, and there's just enough around it that does not look pixelated. That does not look pixelated in any way, shape, or form. This also looks like something taken by a more modern phone, which again, better optics. So let's keep playing.
This little cubby right here.
I seen the woman's eyes. I believe I can read people pretty well, and I felt that her heart was true.
I love that line. I do, chat. I love that line so dearly. I believe her heart was true. Now, these guys, these are some guys that are collaborating with Paranormal Quest. Paranormal Quest is out of West Virginia. I believe they're in Kentucky, and these guys are called Blue Collar Paranormal. And I think this is one of their regular venues. But this is pretty compelling. This is pretty compelling.
And when she showed me that picture, and her fear was in that woman's eyes, they wasn't no denying that woman was scared of something.
Poly mailers are a great way to package your products.
And with
Sticker Mule, ordering custom poly mailers has.
And when I looked at the picture, I couldn't figure it out. I had Miranda come up and stand there, and I was looking at the angle of it, and I was like, that is a transparent figure in that picture. And I'll stand behind it. That is amazing.
So the question is it something that was paranormal? We don't know. That's why we're going to try and test the photograph and see if we can recreate it. But I will say we immediately got a spirit box, the headphones, a blindfold, and I stood in that corner to do an Estes session.
Now, this is pretty intriguing. Because they did a follow. Another great touch here. They did a follow-up to that photograph. And this was what happened.
And apparently, from what they told me, the answers that I was giving were relevant.
Yes, the answers were very relevant. It was very, very chilling. There was a man who asked how old the spirit was, and you responded with 14.
How old are you, Emma?
Can you tell Ryan how old you are?
I think that said 14.
Now take a look too at the EMF reader in this guy's hand. And here's something else too that I'll also point out about this particular paranormal video versus some of the other clips that we looked at. As you can see, everything is framed very intentionally. That helps a lot because we now have the EMF reader in focus. We have Ryan right behind. And yeah, this EMF reader is popping and locking. So unless these people have got their phones on anything other than airplane mode, this EMF is picking up something that's going on in this room or in this hallway. So again, Ryan is standing where the shadow figure was caught, and this is what we get.
No! And that'd be the right height.
And then he also asked what grade you were in, and you responded with 7th.
Emma, what grade are you in?
This hasn't gone off in so long. That is nuts.
I think it either said the 7th or 7th.
7th grade.
You've got to be kidding.
Yep, that's
That would be
right.
right for a 14-year-old, too.
Right here.
Important.
Yeah.
What's important? Wait, you gotta tell us something.
not long after. So it was very, very.
And you'll also notice that that might have been Dave. I hope it wasn't Dave because, man, he was just moving that thing left and right. But you'll notice that the EMF calmed down. It calmed down shortly after when he said important, which again, this kind of all adds up a little bit. All these little reactions.
Strange, very relevant. I think a couple of other things happened too, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And those were the two things that I really remember, like really stood out to me.
And then I remember specifically on my end, I was standing there and I felt this really cold mass of air move across in a way that I can't explain. It was like a cold mass of air from the outside in the middle of winter, but none of the doors were open. And as it moved across, two people that are standing right where I'm standing now started to feel it as well, right as I was mentioning that I'm feeling this cold mass of air. Once that cold mass of air had moved on, it was like at the flip of a switch. I got really, really hot to the point I started stripping my coat off. My palms were sweating. I was shaking. My knees were knocking together. It was like I've never felt that affected during an Estes session.
I got like a lot of energy around me. It's like,
yeah. Oh, I got the goosebumps like crazy right now.
Look at that. I wasn't hot before,
No, that's
but I'm
not
getting
Dave.
like
That's
really
somebody
hot.
else.
I am sweating all of a sudden. Holy sh**.
Emma.
Okay. Someone else want to listen for a second? I gotta step out and get some air. I'm like,
Yeah,
my palms are sweating.
That's. Yeah, I'll tell you, the energy that's in here, man, is insane.
I gotta get some air.
I don't blame you.
I feel like whatever was in this area was very energized and very willing to communicate, and it was a very shocking experience for everyone. Stand there and look in. I'm going to shut that light off. I'm going to just snap a couple pictures over my shoulder.
Okay, so this is what I really like, is that now Ryan and Miranda are trying to replicate the photograph. Now, this is something that you do. This is part of the investigation process. It's not just you find something, you throw it up on TikTok or you throw it up on YouTube. What I really like about the way Ryan and Dave handle investigations on Paranormal Quest is even if they get a really like primo, juicy, awesome clip, they do everything they can to try to replicate it or make it happen a second time. They've done it with doors that inexplicably open. They've done it with a lot of different things. This one I found particularly compelling, and I wanted to make sure I shared it with everybody here. All right, so this is them trying, even with different lighting.
In these pictures that I snapped,
they can replicate
you can
it.
see you are very shadowy, but you can still tell that.
And you see that this is where it gets really, really interesting. So it wasn't any kind of shadow that she was casting, because that means that this shadow is somehow three-dimensional. You'll also notice that it's not part of her coat, because Ryan's coat, her coat, they all seem to line up together. And Miranda, where she is standing, is roughly in the same position here. And this is a great reference. They can go, okay, let's look at the first one, and now let's look at the original. And you can see the difference between the two and whatever this is.
That's definitely.
And then when they found when they got it to where they actually matched the lighting, even then, one thing you can tell is that this is not a reflection. You can see Miranda's reflection here in the door. Here you don't see it.
You in a coat. And it is a different device. She may have had a different phone that doesn't have as good of exposure.
Where's the original photo?
Right here. This is the original.
Get online in minutes. Web.com's AI builder makes it easy. Simply tell us some info.
And then this is very overexposed in the back, but in order to overexpose that in the back, this would have to be better exposed. So that's why I immediately thought that's a very strange photograph, because this is all perfectly exposed and you can see the lighting very clearly. So if it was a living person, you'd think.
The best part of all is Dave is in charge of all the gear. His last name is Gear. I love that. Okay.
I think you'd be able to see their clothing there. Yes, exactly like that. Here, let me go and stand here. even with it being exposed for the light behind me, like the exposure is much lower than what her photo was.
And that's the other thing too. What he's saying here, he's like, if you were to overexpose it, that doesn't line up. It was definitely not anybody from their group that's standing there.
And you can see very clearly my skin tone. You can see, I'm not as silhouetted as the photograph is. And so it's much different than her original photograph, which pretty much has no skin tone to it whatsoever. Yeah. Is it paranormal? It's hard to tell without being there in the moment and actually physically seeing if anyone was there when she took the photograph. But
now, this is, again, something I really admire about Ryan and Dave and the guys at Paranormal Quest. He's like, is this paranormal? Well, we really can't say because we weren't there. But they were. They were in the same building. I'm sitting here going, no, dude, that is paranormal. That is the definition of paranormal.
She claims that there wasn't, and that's her testimony, and we have to believe that. And that's a very odd photograph that was taken right before all of those crazy experiences happened during the Estes session.
I seen a little girl's head about that tall, I think on our third investigation at this location.
Okay. Now, this is their production. This is something they do. They do like the stock video, or they get people to do stuff, and like this, like you see in a lot of the different shows. But this particular photograph, if you were to ask me, do I think it's paranormal? Yes, I do. I'm not saying that because I'm a fan of these guys. I do believe this is something that is paranormal. By definition, it is paranormal. Ryan and Miranda tried to replicate this somehow, even to the point of where they were looking, Miranda looked like she was looking into the window the way this person was looking into the window. But that is, you would have seen skin tone. That doesn't even look like someone wearing a hood. That this is also someone that looks small. It's a small person, with the door. And the door that she's standing in front of is being a reference to her height. So this is either an incredibly short person or this is a young child. And again, one of the things that I think that makes Paranormal Quest a lot more trustworthy when it comes to paranormal evidence and sharing of paranormal evidence is that they give you the context. They give you as much context as possible into whatever they capture, or to whatever, in this particular case, someone that was with them for a public event, whatever they capture as well. And I mean, yeah, I do think that last one, I was saving that one specifically for last because I wanted to make sure that the Gazette, the Grim Gazette, is not going to be just a place where I dish on questionable clips, right? That is not my intent for the Grim Gazette. My intent is to pass along. These are the ways that we, everybody, that people in the paranormal field should be looking at evidence, or what is being presented as evidence. There's going to be some that'll be harder to debunk than others. There's going to be some where you're just not sure. That live photo, for example, that we were looking at, where the guy said, "My mom got a picture of my dead dog." Honestly, that one was a tough one to try to explain away. That one I had a tough time with. So can I say that one was paranormal? By definition, it was paranormal because it defied normal logic. The problem is that I didn't have enough context behind it. And then there's the clip that we all had to crane our necks to look at. That one was giving context, but it was giving very vague context. It's a bit like the Agatha Christie mystery, the murder of Roger Ackroyd. I find the narrator to be sus, and it should be vented immediately. Yeah, I found that a little sus. And then we have Paranormal Quest. And while it sounds like I'm being very not forgiving, that's not the right word I'm looking for. If it looked like I was giving them the benefit of the doubt, I wasn't, because what I respect about their presentation is that they were telling me point blank, no, this was the circumstances that we were all under. This was what was going on. And I'm like, okay, I kind of dig that. I do. I'm picking up what he's putting down. and so yeah, I think that last one was in fact very paranormal. I did think it was very paranormal. So this brings us to the conclusion of our very first episode 0, our very first Grim Gazette. And yes, I will be doing this next Tuesday. Brand new clips. And hopefully I'll have more to share with you all. If you all have something to share, here's the best way to do it. You can go ahead and join the Discord. And when you join the Discord, here's what I'd like for you to do. I would like for you to go on ahead and find the brand new it's the brand new room. It's a brand new Discord room that I just set up, and it's called Grim Gazette. You go in there and you give me a link. You give me a link to either a TikTok, a YouTube, something that you feel like, hey, I need to break this down. I need to get a professional set of eyes on this, if you will. Now, I am not. I'm going to be straight up. I am not going to be going in and getting vicious in my breakdowns. I don't think I was too vicious in my breakdowns, but that's the other thing too, is that in the Grim Gazette, I'm going to be asking for that feedback. I want to know what you all think of this content. I want to know what you think about the presentation. I want to make sure that it is being kept not only above board, but also accessible and also professional. That's what I'm striving for. I'm not going to be screaming back or anything like that. I want to make sure that what we're doing here is done in an educational and analytical manner. So I would love to hear your feedback on that. If you missed it, don't worry. There's going to be a VOD. You can go on ahead and you can check out the VOD, of course. And I'd love to again know what you think of it. This has been fun. This has been a lot of fun. This has been a really interesting experiment.